What's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. In this video, we are finally able to announce the upcoming fusion for January 8th. Right now, as of the announcement, it is less than 24 hours away from the start of the fusion, which is actually insane. But here it is. It is the Mad Hatter himself we see in the background spinning around. He looks super awesome. I mean, obviously some inspiration here from, another very famous clown, of course. He's got his little top hat. We can't really see his face. He's a little bit shy. But let's break down his kit here in this video and see if this fusion is actually worth going for, at least on first impression. If you guys are interested in seeing more about the Mad Hatter, make sure you guys check out my playtest on him coming in the coming days. You guys may or may not be surprised at his actual prowess in the game. So make sure you guys check that out. Let's jump into his kit preview right now. All right, I have no idea why Plarium gives us this kit in this format, but this is the way it's going to go here. So we have the Mad Hatter. He's a 4 support Knight Revenant champion. We already knew that from their little teaser last week. We can see here. Let's check out his kit here. So his A1 is a double hit. Each hit has a 25% chance. When fully booked, is going to be 50% chance of stealing one random buff. That's actually pretty nice considering he has 2 hits. So it's a 50% chance. He's going to be about 75% chance, I believe, of stealing at least one buff. Of course, you need accuracy to do so. He will also have a 100% chance of applying a debuff spread on one random debuff from that target and placing it on all enemies under hex debuff. So there's a little condition here with the hex debuff and all that, but he has the potential to basically spread 2 debuffs because he hits twice with his A1. So potential, a lot of value here with his A1. Up next, we got the A2. We got Mixture Most Foul. It's an AoE attack. When fully booked, it's going to be 100% chance of placing Hex and Weaken on all enemies for 2 turns. That's really nice because that basically takes away, for example, if you want to use him in Hydra, that takes away the necessity to wear curse gear on one of your champions to place Hex. But this is a more guaranteed form of Hex since it's 100% chance on a 3-turn cooldown when fully booked, and it also places Weaken. Weaken's actually a really, really strong debuff for Hydra if you want to push your damage, to that next level, because honestly, there's not too many champions in the game that you might have that you want to put in a Hydra team that place Weaken. There's a couple that come to mind, for example, Eostrid, Varl, they all come to mind, Lydia. But if you don't have those champions yet and you're looking for something else, the Mad Hatter could be that champion to fill that role for you, which is, it's always good to have another option. The second part of his A2 is actually probably the strongest part in his kit, and his kit is pretty good. The ally with the highest crit damage will team up and join the attack. The ally joining the attack will use the default skill. The damage dealt by the ally joining the attack will increase by 10% per debuff on the target. Now, we've seen something like this before, and it's Teox's A1. And Teox's A1 is one of the reasons why Teox is so good, especially for Hydra. So Mad Hatter has this ability on his A2 on a 3-turn cooldown. Of course, Mad Hatter and Teox are totally different champions, but having this ability definitely makes Mad Hatter very, very interesting in that kind of content. Similar to how Teox is OP, Mad Hatter has that OP ability as well on his A2. His A3, a Whiff of Madness. What could that be? Increases the duration of all buffs on all allies by 1 turn and decreases the duration of all debuffs on all allies by 1 turn, and then fills the turn meter of all allies by 20% on a 3-turn cooldown. He could be a turn meter booster as well. 20% boost, decent, not the best. Arbiter, I believe, is 30%, so he's 20%, still not too bad. The increased buff and then decreasing the debuff, really protects your team, right? Gives your teams longer buff duration and then takes away the debuffs. This means he has basically like a 1-turn cleanse, kind of. He kind of has a cleanse in his kit too, on a 3-turn cooldown, and he has a buff extender as well. It's actually really, really strong, guys. Don't underestimate his A3 at all. But let's move on. His passive is also very, very strong. Time for Tea. No cooldown. Every 10 turns taken by your allies heals all allies by 20% of their max HP. So this is, obviously out of your control. Every 6 turns taken by the enemy places True Fear on all enemies for 1 turn. It's actually pretty bonkers because the healing ability can be controlled by how fast your team is. But the 6 turns taken by your enemies and then the True Fear, that's really, really massive because that's just passive CC. So Mad Hatter could basically be just chilling out, doing nothing, no speed, no nothing, in like very slow stone skin. I'm not saying build it this way, but I'm just saying he can just be there and things can happen around him that really support your team. So whether they heals up your team or CCs the enemy team, that's really, really good. And there's no cooldown on this passive. So as we can clearly see from Odin's kind of passive take turn ability, we know it's very strong. Of course, Odin's an exception. He has a very, very strong passive. Aura, 60 accuracy in all battles. Nice generalist aura here. Overall, I mean, I'm really hyping this guy up, but when I first read this, it looks amazing. Like, I think it looks amazing. He's a great support champion, at least on first look on paper. We have to check out the playtest, I guess. Anywho, let's see what Plarium has to say about the Mad Hatter here. So starting Wednesday, January 8th, we know that we're planning to launch a mixed fusion event. We know that as well. It's going to be a hybrid event, guys. So that means we're going to be collecting fragments to build epics and then fuse those epics into the Mad Hatter. Keep in mind, this is a limited time event. We cannot save the Mad Hatter for future events to get more value from him. So make sure you guys pay attention to the timing of everything. He's a Knight Revenant, legendary support force champion. We know this. Mad Hatter is a versatile PvE support champion specializing in spreading debuffs and empowering allies with healing, buff extensions, turn meter boosts. His toolkit is designed to keep allies alive in the fight while disrupting the enemy's strategies. It's really interesting that they only said PvE because his kit, potentially could work for Arena as well, but we shall see. His A1 is a single target, double hit, 2-hitter with a chance to steal 1 random buff per hit. He has a 100% chance to take 1 debuff from the target and spread it to all enemies under Hex debuff. His A2 is an AoE attack that applies Hex and weaken on all enemies, greatly increasing the allies' damage output throughout the battle. That's true. Like I said, Hex, great way to boost the damage of your Hydra team. Same thing with weaken. Also, an ally with the highest crit damage will join the attack with the initial target. This probably is the reason why he's going to really pump up your damage. The condition of bringing in your strongest attacker with that debuff damage increase is going to be really, really good for damage. His A3 will prolong the duration of all buffs on all allies for 1 turn, then will decrease the duration of all debuffs on allies by 1 turn, and finally will boost their turn meter by 20% to keep the team composition running. I mean, that's all great stuff for support. His passive ability, after every 10 turns made by allies, heals all allies by 20% of their max HP, enhancing team survivability. Yes. Also, after every 6 turns made by your enemies, place a True Fear debuff on all opponents, providing powerful crowd control for waves and PvP battles. So they do mention PvP at the end there, literally the last word. And that's kind of where you want to think like the fear might actually come in, but they're totally right. In terms of wave control, he's definitely going to be up there. I mean, against just Doom Tower waves and stuff, this guy's going to be really, really good as well. You know what you guys think about the Mad Hatter in the comments below. Do you guys think he's going to be great, average, good? Are you guys going for him? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching the video. Appreciate your time as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one.